Thank you for watching the forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent. And today we have a very interesting show for you. We're going to be talking to some interesting guests. And our first guest is Jon Richards, and he's with the SETI Institute. So, Jon, tell us what the SETI Institute is.
Okay. So SETI is an acronym that stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
That's going to be so fun.
So the SETI Institute is a non-profit organization started in 1983.
Oh, wow. My hero's born.
Yeah.
Rub it in, Ashley.
So it's a scientific organization in Mountain View, California.
Okay.
And they have approximately 100 scientists doing studies related to SETI. And most of them do work related to astrobiology. And astrobiology is the science of what is life, how can we detect life, how should we search for life.
Wow.
That is so fascinating. Are you government? You said it's nonprofit.
No, it's nonprofit, no government. For our research that I'm going to tell you about, there is no government funding whatsoever.
Oh. So my question is, so you're based out of Mountain View, correct?
Right.
And then, so how do you relate to the North State? Where's your?
Okay. So we have a site in Hat Creek, near Hat Creek, California, and it's anybody can go there during business hours on weekdays.
What are your business hours during weekdays?
The business hours are 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. every day.
All right.
And they have self-guided tours. So what we have there is a large radio listening facility, and that is comprised of 42 large dishes. Each dish is 20 feet in diameter.
Wow.
And all of these dishes can point at the sky, into the sky, at different things or at the same thing in the sky.
Oh, wow.
And usually for about 14 hours a day, we are tuned in to some stars on the sky and listening for radio signals. Now, why are we listening for radio signals?
That's what
So SETI is the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So we are not involved in pseudoscience or any of the UFO science out there. We're just involved with trying to use hard science and the current radio technology we have available to detect radio signals coming from another civilization or another location in the sky.
How has the science changed since it was founded in '83 to now? Because the technology, I mean, you mentioned radio signals. I'm thinking, aren't there more up-to-date tools?
Well, the organization was founded in 1983, but the science, goes back many, many years.
Right.
But it's getting easier and easier to do this type of radio detection because electronics is getting cheaper and smaller. So what we have now is a lot of custom made that was actually made by hand, and we're trying to get that switched over to smaller things you can buy in a regular store.
Yeah. Well, one of my questions would be, so number one, I want to know why you chose Hat Creek. And then for those of us that have no idea what you're talking about, I got the UFO, that you're not looking for UFOs.
Not looking for UFOs.
What is the pseudoscience that you're not looking for? But what is that? What is that?
Oh, like pseudoscience, we're not involved in aliens.
Oh, okay.
We're looking for aliens, right?
Okay.
But we're not. But
technically,
we're
aliens.
not involved with UFOs or the aliens being here. None of that.
Non-humans.
We're trying to just use science to see if we can detect radio signals.
Okay. And that's it.
Coming from very far away.
Okay. Okay.
With the thinking that the only way we would be hearing a radio signal from far away is if there is an intelligent being on the other end sending out that radio signal.
Right. We're looking for an intelligent
and if you find that, what are we going to do? I just want to know. What are we?
I don't think there's any plans.
What?
The plans are.
What?
Well, I mean, society as a whole has no concrete plans. Our plan is that if I saw a signal, I would go back and look again and make sure it wasn't something wrong on my end.
Okay.
And then if I was doubly sure that I wasn't at fault as much as I can be, I would go to my superiors that I work with, and they would come in, and we would all get together and try to determine if this really is a signal.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, there's been several times, and we've always determined it was something else.
Okay, what could that something else be?
We had one earlier this year, and it turned out to be what we believe is just a stray satellite up there that was had a strange signal, and it happened to fit our category at that time. And we went back and looked at it over and over, and we weren't able to see it again.
Oh, so you have to be able to see it multiple times to think that it's okay.
So if we actually saw something that we really thought was of interest, then we would try to quietly tell the other radio places around the world, hey, can you see this signal?
Right.
And then we would get a quorum. So there's a lot of sites that have a lot better listening capability, larger sites.
Right, yeah.
So they would have a better chance if they knew exactly where to look of getting the signal.
How many of these type of sites are there in the world?
We only have one, but
in America?
In America, there's probably 3 or 4.
Oh, not very many.
there's
And then
not that
globally?
many.
Yeah.
Globally, there's probably several dozen.
Well, that's really not very many in the scope of things.
That's right, and a lot of them are smaller. So the technology is just starting to take off.
So how did you end up in this type of field? What do you consider this field, and then how would you, if someone said, I want to grow up and do that, how do you do that?
So I have a degree in electrical and computer engineering.
Okay.
And I got from the University of Iowa a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I knew how to do, and I was interested in doing radio.
Okay.
Type of electronics, based on electronic end. And I got into the software end of things, and that really interests me. So I can kind of navigate the electronics relating to the software. So I can kind of meld the two together, which in this type of science you have to use electronics and software. They can't be separate.
So is that what you're doing on a daily
that's what I was
basis? You're
gonna
creating software to listen better?
Right. So we have a whole system all set up, and for like 14 hours a day, usually all weekends, we're listening for signals from various stars in our catalog. And I'm sitting there, I improve the software, I try to watch the results and make sure we're not actually skipping anything, or the software. The software's not perfect.
Right.
So you're always adjusting it, but I manually check a lot of the results, and every day try to keep it performing optimally.
So you are there to really support the scientists who are looking for everything. I feel like this is so abstract to me. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
The beauty of our system is that the scientists devised this whole method and the software and everything, and made it fairly autonomous, which means it can basically run itself as much as possible. So it takes one person to be watching it. But all the science had been done. Now we're actually, the really interesting part is looking at the results every day.
So the science would be saying where are you looking in the universe, and where are your dishes pointed towards? Where are you listening from?
Right.
That would be when you refer to the science. Is that
is correct?
Specifically what you're.
So the science is involved in are we actually receiving receiving at the frequencies that we receive at efficiently, and the things that we are receiving, is it just interference? And one of the reasons you asked earlier, why are we where we are now? It's like 90 miles east of here. It's out in the middle of nowhere in cow pastures, right? So, and it's surrounded by, it's kind of in a crater, and it's surrounded on all sides by this mountainous area. So we're kind of in a bowl, and Redding is over the hill, so we really don't get that much radio frequency interference from Redding, and we're far from Sacramento and Reno, and there's no businesses around.
Okay.
And so it's a fairly radio quiet zone. So our big enemy out there is radio frequency interference. And even though we're fairly remote, we still get interference from radio stations, people's cell phones, CB radios. The UPS man comes, he's got his radio on. And then there's the issue with satellites and spacecraft up there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, because do you ever?
How has that affected your work?
A lot. So a lot of the software, the beauty of our software that we have developed, it tries to mitigate through that RFI, it tries to identify RFI, radio frequency interference.
Thank you.
So, and tries to skip all the radio frequency interference that it can detect.
So you've built into the software, this is UPS, this is probably a CB
in effect,
radio.
And we have certain frequency ranges we just skip because we know it's worthless to look. And also there's what they call the geo belt. And if you're actually able to visually see all of the satellites up there, in the southern sky, there's a belt of where most of the
I like
satellites
how you have directions in the sky.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm playing this tape
Wow.
in my head. So the most of the satellites are kind of in the same orbit around Earth. So there's a swath of the sky we try to stay away from.
Okay.
We stay away from the sun. We don't want to be staring at the sun. There's too much interference coming from the sun.
Wow.
Stay away from the moon, and then we stay away from all that, and we're peeking through and trying to find signals.
It's got to be fascinating. So tell us about your website. It sounds like that's a good resource.
Yeah, so you can of course go to the main SETI website, SETI Institute website, which is SETI.org.
Oh, that's easy. SETI.org.
Or I have a site that I've developed called SETI Quest.
Oh.
.info. And if you go to SETI.org, you can see it on the main page.
Okay.
You go there. And every night, it will actually show a star map of exactly what we're looking at and the frequencies that we're looking at.
So people can follow along.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can look at what constellation we're looking in, and you can zoom around the universe. And
So I have one last question. And I just want to know, if someone were to go up to SETI, what would be the most interesting thing that they would see? Like what is up there that we would go to look at or learn?
Yeah, you drive through the gate, and about a mile up is the main facility, and there's all these dishes, 42 of these dishes.
Oh, wow.
And you're not used to seeing these.
No.
And you can walk right up to them, you can see them move, and it's very interesting.
Wow.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
so interesting. So, and then during the day, they're active.
During the day, usually we're doing maintenance,
Okay.
and at nighttime we're usually observing. But like
Okay.
on the weekends, we don't do the maintenance. So I'm usually observing all through the weekend from Friday at 5 p.m. all the way till 8 a.m.
So
Monday.
it'd be fun to come out and see it and
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
around, do a little self-tour. You said
We
self-guided.
have self-guided tours, or if you have a group,
You can arrange
we
that?
can arrange, and if I'm there, I can give you a tour.
Oh,
So what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is JRSETI. So my name is Jon Richards, so my Twitter handle is JRSETI.
JR SETI.
I'm looking for
So
more
that's
followers.
fun. I'll
so-
follow you. You can follow me back. I'll follow you. And but the website, we do want to get that out again. It's SETI, SETI.org.
Yes, SETI.org.
That nonprofit status. We haven't even talked about what's an array.
Oh.
Do you have a quick, like 15 seconds, or do we need to save that for another show?
Okay, there's 15 seconds. There's two ways to look for radio signals. If you get one huge dish or a bunch of tiny ones, and ours are considered tiny.
Oh.
And so we have 42 of these tiny ones, so that's defined as an array.
An array. All right. Well, now you know. You probably always wondered. You know, we have wanted you on seriously for like 4 years.
Okay.
So we're so happy because we're like, what's going on in Hat Creek?
Yeah, so everybody should come on out.
And now we
take the
know
tour.
what is happening. That's really exciting. It's science. It's not pseudoscience. It's not do-do-do-do. It's
right.
like waiting for really magical stuff to happen, which it could.
Good.
That's what
Any
your life
day now.
work
That's
is.
right. That's right. That's right.
Thanks for watching. We're going to be right back in just a couple minutes with the second half of our show.
We are back with the Shasta mock trial students, Annika Jandramouli and Jenny Darlington, and they're going to be talking to us about the mock trial for Shasta High School. And I honestly don't know that much about it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, what are the roles and
learn
what
a little
is
bit
mock
more.
trial and
Yeah.
why'd you guys get involved? We're very curious.
So mock trial is basically like a fake court case, and every year we're given a case by the CRF, the Constitutional Rights Foundation, and then we prepare outlines for direct examination, cross-examination, opening statement, closing argument, and that sort of thing, and we like put on a fake case.
Now, I know that when you guys, like, getting this case is kind of a really big deal. Like, that day that the case comes out, why is it such a big deal when that case comes out?
I think it's because having extra time is really an advantage in mock trial, even just that extra day having to prepare the case. Well, when you have a competition, especially when we have a competition in like, our first competition is in October, so we have like 6 weeks to prepare, so every day really counts.
Yeah.
So when do they release? Do they release several a year, or is it one a year, or how does it work?
They typically release just one per year, and it's like pretty extensive, so we get really into it and we like look at all the details.
So what happens is you get this case, and then you have 6 weeks to prepare. You have a competition. What happens after the competition? We have more competitions.
No, I think you're trying to say what happens at the competition, right? Like, so you, right?
Yes, and?
No,
Yes,
yeah, okay,
and.
yes, and. Well, because at the competition, that's when everything kind of comes down, right? And whether you win or lose. So what determines whether you win or lose? Is it just the case, or are you?
It's more about how well we argue the facts of our case. It's not about which side obviously won.
Okay.
It's how well we present the facts, how well we argue the facts.
Okay.
And
So-
who judges?
Yeah.
Usually we'll get, if we're lucky, we'll get like attorney judges, and those are actually called the scoring attorneys. So we'll have a judge who will rule on objections and things, but the verdict doesn't actually matter at all. What matters is the scores we get for each of the things. So it'll be like a 10-point scale for direct examination and cross-examination, and then based on that, your point total is how we win.
So if you win at that first competition, then you keep moving forward on the same trial?
Well, the first competition we have in October is actually an invitational, and so we have a couple of those throughout the year, and the actual county competition that everyone in our area competes in is in February, I think, and then state is in March.
But it's all the same content.
Is it all the
So
same?
you get to keep getting better and better and better.
So it's
and
like
everybody
practice.
else gets better and better too. Yeah.
So these kids that are in you kids, the kids that are part of mock trial, how do you get into mock trial? And do you have to have an interest in being a lawyer or an attorney, or?
Well, when I first joined, I had no interest whatsoever in being an attorney.
Okay.
Considering your dad is an attorney?
I still only about have like half an interest in being an attorney.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't have to like want to become a lawyer. As long as you're just dedicated and you work hard and you're interested in learning about the law, then feel free to try out. We hold tryouts in August every
So it's
year.
a tryout situation.
Yes.
Oh wow.
It's real competitive.
And there's a lot of different roles on the team. So there's witness roles where you can like act, and it's more of an acting sort of thing. There's an attorney role where you're like more into the law, and so you can do different things based on.
neat.
Yeah.
So what are all of the rules? Because that would be interesting to know for any high school students that are watching and might be interested. What are the areas, like you said, acting, and then if you're interested in law, what are some of the other areas that are there?
Well, there's 4 different kinds of positions. So you can be an attorney, a witness, and then there's the clerk, who's the timer and they keep track of the whole trial. And then there's the bailiff, who's usually like the guy that says like, all rise, and stuff like that. So
He also gets to scold people if they talk during the trial. So it's kind of like your courtroom, your game.
I love that.
What are some of the things, how long have you guys been on it, and what are some of the key things you've learned? You're a senior, right? And you're
Yeah,
a
I'm a
junior.
This is actually only my 2nd year of mock trial. I joined last year as when I transferred to Shasta High School. This is my first year as an attorney, actually. Last year I was a witness.
Oh, and how do you like it? What are you learning from it?
Being a witness, it was fun, but it wasn't really my forte.
Okay.
I wasn't that good at it.
no, you were great, don't lie.
Being an attorney suits me a lot more, mainly because I'm really argumentative.
You know what, Jenny? I can see that. I can actually see that.
I can relate.
I have strong
Annika, what
opinions.
about you?
I joined mock trial my freshman year, so this will be my 3rd year doing it. And I don't know, I kind of joined just because I was trying a lot of new things in high school and trying a lot of clubs, and I ended up trying mock trial and I loved it.
So what do the tryouts look like if you do try out? I mean, how high pressure and how competitive is this? What happens in tryouts?
Well, this year we had a presentation case, so we presented a case to people who were interested in trying out, so they could kind of get a feel of what mock trial was like, what it would be like if they got in. And then afterwards, or at least last year, what we did is then Joe, our coach, he assigned people different roles, and then we put on the same case.
So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they get a chance to see what it's like. They're kind of thrown into it.
Yeah, I was gonna.
It's a trial by fire kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it actually prepares them really well, and we kind of see like who's willing to work hard and who's willing to like get through it all. And we've gotten a lot of good people that way. So
How many kids are on your team?
we can have up to 18 to fill all the roles, but sometimes people will double up or something like that.
And all of you go to the competitions.
And interestingly, how many females and how many males?
Let's see, there's Andrew, Jacob, Robbie, Shabazz.
We have 4 guys.
Four guys.
Anywhere you look in mock trial, it's
16
usually like
girls.
an overwhelming amount of
14
like
girls.
girls doing
Yeah.
it.
Is it in mock
fantastic.
trial?
Yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
So you statewide, it's
Oh
more
yeah,
girls than boys.
it's more girls.
Well, that's interesting.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about this competition, this gladiator competition that you guys went to recently? Tell us what it is.
In 30 seconds.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Gladiator was a competition we went to over the summer. It was international. 400 people applied, and the top 40 got in.
And 3 of which were.
Yeah,
3 of which
three
were Shasta attorneys.
We went. It was in Newport Beach, California, and we went there to compete. And one of our teammates, Sunny Snell, actually ended up getting 2nd place, which is super prestigious. And
Wow, and that's an international competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are awesome, amazing. Yale early acceptance, by the way. But Joe Ahart is their coach, and we're going to come right back, and you guys are going to get to meet Joe. So thanks, girls. Thank you, thank you.
Hi, we're back and we are speaking with the man behind the mock trial. He makes it all happen. This is attorney Joe Ahart, and he is the coach for the mock trial
At Shasta High.
at Shasta High School. And this is a volunteer position, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I volunteer. I've been doing it now. I'm going into my 8th year doing it.
Whoa. So what prompted you? You're an attorney, right? You do normal law work during the day.
Yes.
Correct?
Attorneys are supposed to do pro bono work, and that's how I take care of my pro bono work is by volunteering at the high school.
I love that.
I know. What prompted you to get
Yeah.
started?
Actually, some of my coworkers had their own kids on the team, and they asked me to come help, and I came and helped, and I just fell in love with the program, and I've been there ever since.
Well, we know that the girls hold you in high regard, and they are so appreciative. We spoke with one of the parents, off camera, and they're appreciative. They said they've seen like some major improvements in their kids. So what are you doing in the program that's helping? How did you take the program from not really being well known in Shasta County at all, and now they're winning county competitions, state competitions,
international competitions.
How'd you do this? What are you doing?
It's complex.
Without giving all your secrets away.
Well,
Yeah,
a
that's
couple of years ago, when I kind of took the program over, I only just helped at the beginning, and a couple of years ago, I came up with a plan that we were going to build the program from the grassroots. So we recruited a class of freshmen, and I put them all in the most important roles, and now those freshmen are juniors. And so they're really experienced, and we've been fortunate enough to be invited to several private invitationals with some of the private schools from more affluent areas, and we compete with them. We finished at the largest invitational last January. We finished in sixth place there, which was we went into the tournament seeded 13th. So we did really well, and so it's just a lot of time and effort, and it's paying off now.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say that, these kids that you have, they're all, from the kids that I know, they're all going off to great schools. They're doing really well in school in general, and then you teach them these skills. So what would you say is one of the most important skills that you see coming out of mock trial?
Oh wow! There's so many. There's public speaking. There's critical thinking. There's research and writing. But to me, and the way that I pitch the program to the new recruits is that we're looking to make leaders out of the people that join our program. So, and I tell them that from the get-go is that we're not just here as an extracurricular. We're here to teach you to be successful in life and be successful in college and be leaders. So to me, that's our number one skill that we cultivate.
I love that.
How is this? How are you funded? Like you're mentioning these big tournaments that you're going to. Who pays for that?
It's all by donation. So we've been fortunate to have some people donate to us, but we're always looking for more donors. It's a great program. The kids, they get so much out of it. It brings a lot of exposure to our community, especially with some of the areas that and teams that we compete against.
So what would be the greatest need that you would say for our viewers? We have a very generous audience.
Yeah.
What would the greatest need be as far as support?
Money.
Contribution?
Yeah, but like, did I just say that earlier? Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, the money piece, and there's so many organizations I think out there that would be willing to help, and people just in general.
Yeah.
If
I
they
mean, think about the empowerment that's happening with these children. Their lives
No,
are being
absolutely,
changed.
yeah.
And instead of ending up in juvenile hall, right, they're ending up leading our community forward.
Yeah.
Which is a really
and I think it's
inspiring.
great that you're a mentor. I think the role that you've taken on is more than a coach. And really, you're kind of making this a leadership mentoring program
Absolutely.
through the avenue of
Mock
trial.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm very proud of it. Yes.
I would be too. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I think this is definitely something that if you wanted to support.
The Twitter or the Instagram account
handle
is Shasta High Mock Trial. Is that right?
It's Shasta High Mock Trial. The Twitter is at CCU APD.
Okay.
Long story. We'll just leave it at that.
We are. Thank you for coming on. This has been a phenomenal show. We're so happy that you tuned in. We're going to look forward to seeing you again next time right here on the forum.